Hello and welcome back to Mangum News. I'm your host, Elijah Mangum. This week we'll be discussing Andor, episodes 5 through 8, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, episodes 8 through 9, Werewolf by Night, The Lord of the Rings of Power, episodes 7 through 8, a recap of Florence Football, former daycare workers charged with felony child abuse, former President Donald J. Trump subpoenaed, Greenville police officer killed in shootout, suspect in Oxford hit and run charged, tensions rising between Governor Tate Reeves and Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumuba, UK Prime Minister Liz Truss resigning, my weekly weather report, and my exclusive interview with Fox 40 and WLBT anchor Patrice Clark. Without further ado, let's begin. While Andor Episode 5 has good performances and develops the characters further, the slow pacing puts it more in line with the quality of Episodes 1 through 2 than 3 through 4. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. However, Episode 6 is the best episode yet, with thrilling action sequences and beautiful visuals, along with a good script and performances. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Episode 7 through Episode 8 has some good performances, especially Fiona Shaw and Andy Serkis, and develops the show's great story forward, but lacks the fast pacing and action sequences that a spy thriller series should have more of. Overall, I'll give episodes 7 through 8 an 8 out of 10. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law has come to a close with its final 2 episodes. Episode 8 is arguably the best episode, with the official MCU debut of Daredevil following his Netflix show and cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home. This version is funnier and more acrobatic like the comics. However, the romantic relationship between him and She-Hulk is not done very well, and elsewhere the show continues down sillier territory. Overall, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. The finale breaks trends as the show's uneven plot attempts to come together. Jennifer Walters breaks the fourth wall in the biggest possible way, traveling to Marvel Studios in the real world to change her show's ending. While the ending is some comics accurate and somewhat clever, it comes completely out of nowhere and doesn't even go all the way through with its concept. Overall, I'll give the finale a 7 out of 10 and the series a 6 out of 10. Marvel Studios' Halloween special, Werewolf by Night, has hauntingly beautiful cinematography and suspenseful horror sequences. However, the special is surprisingly violent for my taste. Overall, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Outside of the Southland's transformation into Mordor, The Lord of the Rings of Power, Episode 7 slows the pace down significantly from the battle of Episode 6. Overall, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. The finale goes into the opposite direction, with big reveals and moments. It is confirmed that the Stranger is a wizard, Halbrand as Sauron, and ends with the forging of the Elven Rings, leaving us excited for the next season. Overall, I'll give the finale a 9 out of 10 and the show an 8.5 out of 10. On October 7th, Hattiesburg defeated Florence 28-21 at Florence. October 14th, West Jones defeated Florence 34-7 at West Jones. On October 21st, Florence defeated Brookhaven 25-14 at Florence. Finally, October 28th, Florence will face South Jones at South Jones. A viral video of daycare workers scaring children with a scary Halloween mask at the Little Blessings Daycare in Hamilton, Mississippi was released on October 4th. The former daycare workers were arrested and charged. Sarah McCandless, Oceana Kilburn, Jennifer Newman, and Cheyenne Shelton were charged with felony child abuse. Tracy Hudson, who allegedly took the video, was charged with failure to report abuse and simple assault of a minor. On October 11th, Greenville police officer Maisha Stewart was killed in a shootout. Stewart was one of 4 people shot in the incident. The suspect and another man were airlifted to a Jackson hospital before the suspect was taken into police custody.
The clerk will report the vote.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, there are 9 ayes and 0 noes.
The resolution is agreed to.
On October 13th, the January 6th committee hosted their final public hearing before the midterm elections. The committee voted to subpoena former President Donald J. Trump, and the official subpoena was issued on October 21st. It requests that former President Trump testify at the Capitol or by video conference at 10 a.m. on November 14th. It is unclear if the former president will honor this request. Ole Miss student Walker Fielder was killed and another is injured in an alleged hit and run by suspects Seth Rodica and Tristan Holland. After his truck wrecked in Marshall County, Rodica turned himself in and was charged with manslaughter, a DUI, and leaving the scene of an accident causing death and injury. Holland was arrested in Shelby County and was charged with accessory after the fact. On October 17th, Governor Tate Reeves announced that he was informed that Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antar refused to work with state and city experts to select a water operator for the city's 2 water treatment plants and well facilities. Governor Reeves threatened to cut state assistance if the city fails to cooperate with hiring a third-party firm. On October 20th, during a turkey pardon, Governor Reeves gave further comments on Mayor Lumuba.
I never would have taken over the water system to begin with, knowing that I had to deal with this mayor, but for the fact it was the right thing to do.
On October 21st, Mississippi Congressman Benny Thompson and New York Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney sent a letter to Governor Reeves as a part of their investigation into the state's underinvestment in Jackson.
And we set out a vision for a low-tax, high-growth economy that would take advantage of the freedoms of Brexit. I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party.
On October 20th, UK Prime Minister Liz Truss became the shortest-serving Prime Minister in British history when she announced her resignation after 45 days in office. Rishi Sunak became the leader of the Conservative Party on October 24th before being appointed Prime Minister the next day by King Charles III.
I am humbled and honoured to have the support of my parliamentary colleagues and to be elected as leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party. It is the greatest privilege of my life to be able to serve the party I love and give back to the country I owe so much to.
Friday will be partly cloudy with a high of 78 and a low of 62. Saturday will have a 70% chance of rain with a high of 72 and a low of 56. Sunday will be partly cloudy with a high of 70 and a low of 56. Halloween will be partly cloudy with a high of 72 and a low of 52. Tuesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 76 and a low of 52. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 76 and a low of 54. Thursday will have a high of 78 and a low of 56. Can you kind of tell me how you're liking your new position so far?
It is busy. I was the weekend reporter, right? So I was used to working on Saturdays and Sundays. We have 3 shows, 2 on WLBT, and then 1 on Fox 40 at 9 o'clock. But on the weekends, it's festivals. Sometimes there's a lot of hard news, but for the most part, you kind of know what you're getting into before you go into the newscast. Well, I switched over to the weekdays and there's breaking news every minute. There's more copy to read, but I literally love it because in news, you always want a challenge. And when you're passionate about being a journalist, you're not afraid to take on the big stories and anchor at the same time. So has it been a challenge? Oh, yes. But am I loving it? Oh, yes.
And can you kind of describe a little bit leading up to this moment, how your career sort of took off? I kind of told you a little bit about mine. Can you describe how your career has led you to this moment?
Let me tell you, I literally started from the bottom. Like I've worked every position, right? 3 internships. My undergrad is from Nicholls State University. My master's degree is from the Jackson State University. But I wasn't handed any position. I had to work for it. I started out working for a radio station when I was in college, making probably $4 an hour. Right? But I knew I had a passion for news and to let my voice be heard. So I had to do what I had to do. After that, I worked at a station in New Orleans, and I was basically the assignment editor. But guess what my hours were? 10 o'clock to 5:30 in the morning. And I had to sit there and listen to a scanner. And I had to learn the codes so that if there was a fire or shooting, I had to then call a photographer and they would have to go out. So imagine that being your schedule. And then sometimes I would have to work a double shift and I would have to, go get coffee, do the scripts for the anchors, sometimes produce. But again, I was hungry to be on the news and I just had to do what I had to do. Then a position opened at WLOX in Biloxi, but it wasn't a position inside the newsroom. They said, okay, Patrice, we want you to go to a bureau in Jackson County that's in a rural area and be over like 4 or 5 counties. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought I was just going to dress up and look beautiful and have a photographer. No, I had to do everything. But let me tell you, that's the way God works. He will always put you in positions so that you can learn your craft and be great at it. So I was at WLOX and I got a lot of my training there. I had to connect with the community. I had to do a lot of stuff. So finally I got the chance. And the crazy thing is, I got a call from WLBT here. And I was like, okay, well, I want to get my master's degree. I like Jackson. Let me try it out. The best decision I've ever made. I've been nominated for an Emmy, multiple awards as far as for my reporting. I became a weekend anchor, now the Fox 40 primary news anchor and a reporter for WLBT. So God will always do more than you ever expected, but you have to put in the work. And that's what I tell people. Know a little bit about everything. So I can be a producer, I can shoot, I can write, I can anchor. And you always want to be an asset and not a liability, especially in news.
And you talked about how busy your new position has been over the past, what has it been, month or two?
Yeah, about a month. Yeah, about a month. It feels like a year, but it's a month.
Can you describe your new day in the life of Patrice Clark?
Okay, so usually on weekends, as I said, I would come in at 2 o'clock, and most of the time, we know what's happening on the weekend. Now, did we have breaking news? Of course, but now with me anchoring, I still enjoy being a journalist, going out in the community and reporting. So I wake up early in the morning, I read, watch TV, because reading is fundamental, right? If you want to be a journalist, you need to read, right? And you need to watch TV, see what's going on, not only in your community, but around the world. So I wake up, I do that, check emails to make sure that, I didn't miss a story, or if somebody's contacting me about a story, I can then connect with them. And if there's an event that's happening, for example, last week, Jackson State's homecoming. So I woke up, went out about 10 o'clock, went to the Yard Fest, then traveled around to get like the economic perspective of Jackson State's homecoming, came back, went to work, right? You remember, I started at 10, got to work at 2, right? And then from there, we have a story meeting where we pitch our stories, right? I did that, wrote, edit my piece, and then I anchored the 5:30, and then I anchored the 9 o'clock show for an hour. Then I believe I fronted my package for the 10 o'clock. Fronted means you see me in the studio talking about it, and then I pitched to it. So I got home, maybe midnight. But you know what? It didn't feel like that because I have a passion for what I do. So it's exciting in so many ways, honestly. And many times I volunteer for this stuff because I just enjoy reporting and anchoring.
That's all we have for this week. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all on Monday for Mangum Studios' first special presentation, Reformation Day.